How's it go, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another deck profile, and this time let's go over my Aggro Syn list for the set 14 format. So as we know, with the ban list, a lot of things got hit, and one of the decks that got affected was this list, this deck anyway, as the two things that affected it was the errata on the Celzeno Secret Rare, and also the banning of the Pan-Grave Whisperer from set 8. Now those were really strong, so with the Celzeno, it got limited, it got errata, so that the Quad Strike was part of the auto, not just a standard skill on the card anymore, and the Pan-Grave Whisperer was just banned. The reason for those bans were because the Pan allowed you to, with this list, you can easily get down to 2 very easily, and you want to get down to 2 because you get to see as many cards as possible, and then you can save Awaken to then Awaken at 2, your Pan will come down, and allow you to get 2 swings with either your Secret Rare or the TP promo that has triple strikes. You can swing with them, and then restand them for free with the Pan once again. And with the Celzeno, it's really easy to drop it turn 2 in this deck because you have the Nova Shenron 4-drop that can play something from the drop, and then you get sack off the thing you get play from the drop. You play one of your 8-drop Allies Absorb Omega Shenron card, and that equal 12, and turn 2 you're able to get your opponent down to 4 life very easily, and along the way critting them with the Rage Shenron stuff, which then meant that you can then finish them off with Celzeno with them having 1 energy unless they left it open for a negate. It was very aggressive, very, very unfair to be able to pull off, so they errated that. But even though we got those hits, that was the only hits that got on the list that really affected the deck, and even though it's lost its turn 2 oppressive, unfair kill turn play, it's still a strong deck and still killed by turn 3 at least. So get into the list and give it tech choices. So with the list, as you know, if you haven't been playing, if you never played in set 10, 11, 12 when we were getting the Yellow Shadow Dragons, then just go with the leader. So basically he's a yellow leader with an auto when it attacks. You look at the top 5 cards for a yellow Shadow Dragon, or for up to 1 Shadow Dragon among them. Doesn't have to be yellow, because I know we have black ones now. And then add them to your hand and shuffle your deck. And then at the end of your turn, you untap one of your yellow Shadow Dragons. That's in rest mode. And it's got a Awaken, which when you land at 3 or less, or when you have a unison of a specified cost of 4 in play, draw 2 and untap 1. So it's like the middle ground Awakening, but with an extra draw. And you're only going to you need to get down the 3 for it, because we have no unison in this deck to fill the condition. Now you could play if you want to, you could try playing the Goku Black from the TP of the set before last, but this deck doesn't really need a unison, which is unique in a format like in this block in this format where most things require a unison. But then when you awaken at 3 life less, you now have the auto when you attack your draw, and then auto now untaps all your Shadow Dragons, not just 1, and you have a turn 6 play with his activate main of tapping 6 yellow energy, play the 7 Shadow Dragons with different card names from your drop area. So that's the last resort if you get stalled down and pressed aggressively like that, which normally only happened against Hatch. But yeah, it's not often you're gonna pull that effect off in this deck. Begin on with the deck. So we have the 4 and 4 of the Bull and Next Step Up target for Rage Shenron. So Rage Shenron Bull is a standard like all the Bulls, deal with a permanent of the cat attack, and is unaffected by amount of skills on the board. And then activate main after you sack it off to play a 2-drop Rage Shenron from your deck or hand. And the target for that is the Red Shenron, the Electromancer, which has critical, and also you take a life. When it attacks, you get 5k power. So it means it's a critical 50k swing, which is good for the early game because your opponent's not going to have. If you go first, you can get, you basically just try to get a ball out either with Ice Shenron or just by playing the ball, and then you're going to just sack it off at 3, play a Rage Shenron, swing for a 50k crit, which early game they're not going to stop, and if they are, they're wasting more cards than they need to. So you can be hitting them early with this card to deny them resources and putting pressure getting them low on life as well. And we play 4-4 because this is when you main turn 1 play that you want to try and pull off. That's why we only play 3 of the Ice Shenron on the Chiromancer, because normally you just want. Well, if you're going first, you generally want to find this. So you can use Activate Main, where you pay 1 yellow and discard it, and then play the ball from the deck with skills negate for the turn. But since you're going first and you can't attack anyway, it's more effective to use Ice Shenron into the ball to deck Finn by at least 1 card, because Ice Shenron plays from the deck, and then because you can't then, because even if you did play the ball first turn manually, you can't then sack it off into the 2-drop swing. But if you turn 2, you want to see the ball instead of the Ice Shenron, so you can play it, sack off into this, swing with this, and because then your leader restand it so they can't attack into it. And then what we also do is play 2 of the Shenron. Actually, no, wait, no, I got it wrong. It's supposed to be 3 of this. So 3 of the Shenron Achieved Supremacy. This is a different card than a nice tech choice, considering we've lost the pan, where it's a unique 3-drop with 10,000 power. 2 Activate Main skills. First one is if your leader card is a Shadow Dragon card and you choose 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 1 or less in your battle area and returns to your hand. You play this from your hand and you can activate the Activate Main skill on copies of this card for the turn. And then it has an Activate Battle skill. Once per turn, if it's your turn, you choose 1 Shadow Dragon card in your hand and discard it to draw 1 card. So this gives you an extra swing and also some draw power, because one of the good things you can do with that is by playing the ball, sacking off the rage, swinging a rage, take a life to be a 50k crit, bounce the rage back to hand to play this, swing with it, use the Activate Battle, discard the rage to sack it off to draw a card and have this in the drop, and then sack off this for allies absorbed after. So normally on turn 2, you're going to be swinging with the rage and sacking it off for Omega. This gives another card in between. You get an extra attack and an extra draw, or giving it the same, and then also putting more Shadow Dragons in the drop as well. And you lose no cards off that, really. And we play for this because you want to kind of see it, so you can do that, pull that off on our attacking turn with Rage Shenron. On the turn we attack with Rage Shenron, then drop the allies absorbed. And the help consistency in the deck's got, if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's got like a rota in a sense for the deck, where it's got Oceanus Shenron the Animancer, which is a 4 cost 20k, barrier blocker, and also when this card attacks, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode, and if the card switch to rest mode has an energy cost 2 or less, you KO it. So this is a skill you're not going to be get by playing this card, but the allies absorbed can copy this card's effect from the drop to use that effect, so that's why it's relevant. But the skill that's going to use to give you consistency is his Activate Main, where you press 1, which means you mill the top card of your deck, and you discard this card from your hand. You then look at the 5 cards on top of your deck, add up to 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 8 or less among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck, and then you can activate the Activate Main skill on copies of the card for the turn. And as you can see, that can get you any of the Shadow Dragon cards from your deck. And we do run a few non-Shadow Dragon cards, up to 13 in total, but you're normally never going to whiff off this. If you whiff off this, that's really unfortunate, really unlucky, but you're never going to whiff off this. And it's nice that it gives you access. It can help you find any card in combination leader. You can find almost any Shadow Dragon when you want using those 2 cards. Then on to the big bosses, we have the 2 Omegas. The first one we have is Omega Shenron Allies Absorb. This is one of your main extenders for with Rage Shenron. So turn 2, hopefully you've got a ball on board. You can sack off the ball to get the rage. As I said, swing, do a 15k crit and take a life. Then bounce that back to hand to play this Shenron. Swing with it, use the Activate Battle, discard the Rage Shenron you have back to hand to draw a brand new card. So you've lost nothing. And then after the battle, you sack this, pay 1 energy, sack this off to play this. This then draws a card with its Activate Main, because that's how you're playing it out. For 1 energy, for 1 yellow energy, you gotta choose one yellow Shadow Dragon with energy cost 4 or less in your battle area, and place it in its drop, which is the Shenron. Draw 1 card and place a card from your hand. And then now you have the Activate Main live once per turn. If your leader card is a Shadow Dragon, yellow Shadow Dragon card, and you send 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card with energy cost between 2 and 4 that is in this Shenron card from your drop area, so it's known as Warp. Add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and this card gains the skills of the card sent to the Warp with its skills until the end of the opponent's next turn. So one of the good things about this is you can copy Oceanus to be a barrier blocker that can then attack, rest, I think, and potentially KO it. Copy Rage So it can attack, so it has critical, and then can attack to gain 5k by taking a life. So you can get an extra, get more self-awakening from that combo, and also apply more crit pressure. And you can copy Surprise Shenron to have the auto of when your opponent plays a card, rest it whenever you want. Anytime your opponent plays a card, but then have it have its skill negate for the rest of the turn. Or you can copy the Haste Shenron Venom's Mist to get double strike and the ability to discard a Shadow Dragon when it attacks, to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and rest mode with energy costs created in their energy and KO it. So you got some utility with this, but mainly what you're going to be doing is copying Oceanus to get the barrier blocker, like to make sure to give it barrier mainly, and have a blocker at the end of your turn when you untap it, or Red Shenron to put some pressure in with the crit. And the very, very rare case you'll be copying the Surprise Shenron to get double strike and that effect, just when your opponent plays a card, or rest it once per turn. And then the big boss monster that isn't that secret rare is the other Omega Shenron, the Ultimate Shadow Dragon, which is a unique triple striker, 8 cost 30k. And you do this kind of similar thing, you only pay it for 1 energy, just like you do with the old one, but in a different way, because its active main is 1 yellow if your leader card is a Shadow Dragon card, and you have 3 or more energy, and you send 7 yellow, or mono yellow Shadow Dragon cards from your drop area to your warp. Draw a card and play this card from your hand. So both of them draw a card when they played, so they replace themselves in your hand. But also, this is your game ender, and you need 7. But it's really easy to pull off 7 battle card Shadow Dragons and drop. You have quite a few, like the Oceanus and Nova that burst. You have the Shenron here, which discards them to draw a card. And then you have the Ice Shenron that discards itself, or the Ice Shenron on the board that put themselves in the drop to either play something or, to play something, essentially. So you have an easy way to fill up your drop, and you can get that easily set up by turn 3, which is the main turn when you're going to go off, and what you're going to save your awakening for as well, turn 3. And in the help, get some utility. We have Nova Shenron, which is another one has unique 4 cost 15k. It has a permanent where if your leader card is a yellow Shadow Dragon card, and you have a yellow Shadow Dragon card in play, which is the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So it's a 1 cost as long as you have another Shadow Dragon card, any Shadow Dragon card in play. And its activate main allows you to shoot at things, and is why we got some of the free drops in the board in the deck. Because if it's a burst 2, so you mill top 2 cards of your deck and switches to the rest mode as the cost. You play it to 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card from your drop area with energy cost of 2 or more, 19k power or less, and a character name different from the battle card you have in play with its skills negate for the turn. And you can play battle cards from your drop area for the turn. So the good thing about this is you can use this to play Surprise Shenron from your drop. So then you have its effect to rest, I think, your opponent plays once a turn after the turn it's played, because when you play it, your turn has its skills negated, but as soon as you pass, its skills are alive again. Or you can get this Haze Shenron, just have a 15k swing, and then 3 evolve on top of it, the 4 drop. Or you can get out just something like Rage Shenron or something, so you can then evolve on top of it with Omega. So you have, as I said, 12 to meet this secret rare. That's your targets, and one thing to note is off its effect, you can't bring out this Syn Shenron astonishing achieving supremacy from your drop if you have one of the Omegas on board, because even though its card name is Omega, the character name on Omega is on the Mega cards is still Syn Shenron. Then onto the attacks, we got Surprise Attack Neutral Shenron. So as I said, this is a double striker. Never mind the evolve skill because you're never going to use it. But its main skill is its auto of if your leader card is yellow. When your opponent plays a battle card or unison card, you may choose that card and switch to rest mode. If you do negate the skill of this for the turn. So that's very nice for if your opponent plays something that you don't want to attack. So it's got dual attack or triple strike or something like that. You just go use the effect, rest it. And having double strike is quite nice as well, especially when that gives it just like Oceanus, gives it 2 strong skills and 1 to add to your Omega. And then we play 2 Haze Shenron, which is it has critical, and it also has an auto of when this card is played, add up to 1 Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 4 from your drop area to your hand. Now that's not really relevant because you're mainly going to be playing this off the Nova Shenron, so you can get extra 15k attack, and then evolve onto it with this, the Haze Shenron. So this card is good utility if you drop it on top of the Haze after bringing it out with Nova, or just in your hand, because it's a double strike of 20k to evolve on top of the Haze Shenron. And the good thing and why you can attack with the free drop Haze first and then play this is because it's first auto of when a card evolves into this card, switch it to active mode, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. And it EX evolves on top of a Haze Shenron when energy costs free, so that's why that's perfect. And the other skill it's got, which is why you play it for, is if your leader card is a Shadow Dragon card and you choose one Shadow Dragon card in your hand and discard it, when this card attacks or is using a combo, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode when energy costs greater than the current energy and KO it. That's why you never have to worry about things like the Supreme Card from attacking, then Supreme Card Secret Rare from attacking, then uses effect, because if they attack with it, it gets popped by this. If your opponent drops their sells their no Secret Rare and it attacks, pop it with this. Anything that like in a format now where a lot of things come out with a higher cost, like cheaper than their cost, and they cost more than their current energy, this card just easily pops it. So unless it's got barrier, it's not really a threat against this deck if it's coming down early in its cost. But that is it for all the Shadow Dragon cards that can be searched from the deck with the Oceanus. Now we go into the non-Shadow Dragon cards. So we got 4 of them. So the first one is the Green Super Combo. Best yellow super, like this set of super combos are the best ones in the game at the moment for each color, because, well, apart from green has a better one in Paragus, but that's green. But for yellow, you have different choices. You can have the blue-yellow Zamasu card because it's good control, but we don't really care about control in this deck because we're an aggro deck. We care more about drawing into our cards that we want. And this is perfect because where you can easily get down to 4 in your life in this deck by using things like Rage and stuff to take life, and even the Omega. This is easily the skill you can easily get yourself down to 4 and pull this off. And this is if your leader card is yellow, your life is 4 or less, and all your energy is yellow. When it's using the combo, you get 10k combo power for the battle. Then you can choose one card from your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck, and if you do that, you draw 2 cards. So normally you're going to be putting deck cards at the bottom, or even use it to put Rage Shenron's 2 costs from your hand, so you can play a Mac out with a 1-drop if you've got them on board, or put things you just don't want in your hand, like say you've got no energy, but you've got any extra cards in your hand, you can put them to the bottom of your deck to draw 2. Things, and it helps you dig for your deck a lot quicker, because you've got a lot of searching with the Shenron and all the consistency of the deck, and this just adds to help you draw into the cards that you can't search. So any of these really. And then we're playing 2 Swift Retaliation Caller. I'm only playing 2 of this because there's not too many counters viable at the moment. Like, not many people are having decks that heavily counter, have heavy negates. And as I said, with the consistency here, you should be able to see at least 1, hopefully, quite soon unless it gets bursted. You can up this to 3 if you want, but my personal preference, I prefer it 2. And what it does is a counter. If your leader card is yellow, and you get your counter and play this card, and it costs 3 energy. So normally on to your turn 3, you're going to want to play your Omega Shenron, charge to turn 3, play your Omega Shenron for 1 energy, draw 1 card, awaken with your leader, and then have this live on turn 3. So when you put your opponent down to 3, swing the Omega. If they negate, you activate Caller, negate the attack, play this, and then the attack continues to go through, and you just combo everything into it. And another good thing about this is when it's played, you draw 1 card, which is nice. But if you have 6 or more cards in rest mode, you draw 1 more card. So as long as you have 2 more ever cards in rest mode, being like your leader and another card swing, if you have your leader card in rest and another battle card in rest, when you attack with this and drop it, you then tap your free energy, so an extra 3 to it. The Omega swing attacking, so it's in rest mode, so that's a 4th one, and then you beat 6 for the condition to draw 2 cards off this. So this could be really good and negate your opponent's negate, and also draw you 2 additional cards, which could be powerful. Then we go on to the secret rare. So this is easy enough since we've lost the ability to play Bell on the deck to override the unique skills on both the Omegas and allow you to play multiple of them on a turn. We still have the Cell Zeno to kind of act as that now, even though it's gone errated. So now you have to wait until turn 5 to have Quad Strike. Still being able to get rid of an Omega so you can play Never Copy. It's very strong, and just giving yourself a 40k single strike swing is still very, very good. Especially when you want to get your opponent down to 3 and they're on 4 life, you could just sack off stuff to go into this, and then swing, put them down to 3, and then play your Omega to then try and finish them off. And as we're an aggro deck, I overwhelm a choice because we don't really care about a drop outside of Omega. We have SS4 Bardock fighting against face just because it's a 25k dual attacker, and as we know, 25k is a sweet spot because most leaders are 15k, and if they want to combo out of it, if they do it as cheap as possible, they got at least use super combo and a 5k, and if that 5k doesn't draw or replace itself like a super combo does, then they're losing cards from their hand to out combo it. And by forcing that super combo with this, when you're trying to get another 4, it's not available for when the 8-drop swings. And then on to our few extra cards we have in the deck. We have 2 Power Super Saiyan. This is just handy because it can play for free as long as you have 1 or more mono yellow energy in active mode because it's permanent. You can use it to replace yourself to draw cards that thin through the deck, and also rest things like blockers down that you don't want to deal with. And at the very least, it can be used as a negate if you ever need to. And then the other extra card we got is Vegeta's Final Flash, just because of how powerful it is to add 15k for 1 energy to a card swing. So any card in this, so any battle card or leader card that swings for 1 energy, you can use this to give it 15k power, and you get the benefit. And sometimes in the situation comes up where the negating a skill through barrier comes in really handy. So if your opponent's, like as we said, if your opponent's playing the blue-yellow package and they've got the Bojack Aegis on the board, if they've tapped out and you're swinging and you use this and negate the skills on the Bojack, they then can't use Aegis to give you some energy, and that could mean be the play between winning and losing at that point. But that is the deck. I don't have a side deck at the moment because at the moment we're still only having best of 1 tournaments online. And locals isn't really a good way to build a side because local formats change depending on what the meta is. Sometimes it's really competitive, sometimes it's really not competitive. So our side deck's not great at the moment until we get best of 3 big events back. But if you have enjoyed watching, feel free to give me a like, and also thank you for watching. And if I've mentioned anything incorrectly or there's any questions you have, feel free to drop a comment. And lastly, also feel free to subscribe, and you'll get updated with my videos as and when they come. I try to cover Decklist. I'm going to try and do gameplay back up once I get back into playing again in person. It's kind of dropped down a bit, and also try to get out the European event coverage for decks and stuff as soon as the event's over, as quick as possible. But once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.